Hey, so I'm just gonna wait to see if people are gonna be coming in. And yeah, that going on. Pop out chat. And while we wait, I'm gonna start mixing something. So today, the plan is I'm gonna go over my Randonauting experiences. If you don't know what that is, I will try to explain it. It's kind of weird. It's an app on your phone. We'll just start there. But as far as like how to use it and what it does and all that kind of stuff is a bit odd. But I like odd things, so of course I wanted to do it. Plus, honestly, I just wanted to get out of the house. And I'm still not comfortable with just proceeding as normal with everything going on. As far as shopping and all that kind of stuff, which I did go shopping. I did go to Ross because they opened up a new one near me. And I wanted to go. It was uneventful. So let's see. Put that out there. All right, so I guess I'll start just talking about random stuff, see if more people come in because I just don't want to repeat myself. So yesterday was interesting. Normally I go bowling, but a couple people bailed, and quite honestly, I didn't particularly want to go. My sleep schedule has been really screwed up since Thursday. I woke up early because I finally got the notification that my classes were ready. Mind you, I ordered these things July 18th or something like that. It had been over a month for them to come in. So I woke up early, but I woke up way too early. For whatever reason, if I have to break my normal routine of, when I wake up or anything like that, it's mainly that, but if I break that up, my body just goes into overdrive. So I wanted to wake up by 9 or 10 o'clock. Well, yeah, by 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., which is normal for most people. I work a late shift, so I'm not getting up until usually 11 a.m. Not a huge difference, 2 hours, not that big of a deal. Well, apparently it is, because I woke up at 5 a.m. It was 5:30, something like that, which is way, way, way too early for me. So I tried to go back to sleep briefly. The problem is I had a window to where if I'm not back to sleep by this time, I just have to get up because I had stuff I had to do, like pick up my glasses and my cat's prescription medicine. So I got up, everything was whatever, and I'm pretty sure my parking brake was on, which I wasn't supposed to be using my parking brake because it's getting old apparently. And what happens when they get old is they can rust and then they're stuck and they won't come out of the e-brake. And yeah, that happened. 10 years of doing it just by habit, it's really hard to break. Mind you, I only did it a couple times since I was told not to use it anymore. Because first I was told to use it because we live on a hill and it's just good to have it as like an extra precaution that it's not rolling down the driveway. But since I'm not using my car as often and all this other kind of stuff, I was told that, I probably shouldn't use it anymore because then it could rust in its position, basically. And yeah, I did that. So I tried moving. Well, as soon as I released the brake, it felt weird. It just didn't feel normal. Then when I put my car in reverse, which normally, because of being on a hill, it would just roll backwards. Yeah, it didn't move. I was like, okay, that's not good. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe, I don't know, sometimes the way my brain works is just kind of dumb. But I was like, okay, well, maybe I am in a position on the hill to where it's going to need a little bit of a push to get back. Yeah, it didn't. Because then I tried to put a little gas into it, and then I heard like stuff going crazy. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we're not doing that. Luckily, I was able to just borrow somebody else's car and get what I needed done. But short of the long is my dad had to, I guess the way to fix it, or at least the way he fixed it, is you kind of just, I think you just break it. Like you keep going back and forward kind of aggressively. And there's like this little cord that hooks up to your brake and it'll like come undone if you do that. I don't know. Don't take my advice on doing this crap, but when I looked it up online, that's what some of them did. So it's the only reason I know any of that. But yeah, so he was able to break it free. But anyway, so that was my Thursday. And then I was up from, that 5 a.m. And then I had to work. So then I had to work until, 9 o'clock in the evening. So that was fun. And then I tried to stay up a little bit because the problem is like I went right to bed after work. Then it just kind of repeats the cycle again. And just stay up a little bit, but I don't know. It didn't correct it. Anyway, I didn't feel like going bowling yesterday because my sleep schedule screwed up. That's really what all that was about. It's an automatic car. I can't drive a stick shift. My dad tried to teach me and it went horribly wrong. I've since asked other people to try, to teach me. People that are a little bit more patient, which now I feel like he'd be able to. His demeanor is quite different than it used to be. He's more patient and doesn't get so frustrated when he's teaching something or whatever. So I think now he'd be able to do it to a point where I can respond better, because I don't respond well to frustration and people getting agitated if I don't do something correctly, like the first time you tell me to do it. Like agitation just flusters me more, and then it makes me screw up more. The problem is we don't have any stick shifts anymore. The only one that has a stick shift is my brother, and I don't see him often enough. But he was supposed to, and my grandma was supposed to at one point. It just never happened. But it is something I'd like to know how to do. I don't think it's ever something I would prefer. It just seems like a whole lot of extra stuff for the, just driving around. I don't really know what the benefit of driving a stick would be for me, but I'd like to know how to do it in case I'm ever in a situation where that's all that's available. Like right now, I wouldn't really be able to drive it. Anyway. So we didn't go bowling. And I went and had my dad try something, because we're supposed to be reworking a recipe from this month, one that we didn't particularly like. We could, revise it, whatever. So I've been working on that damn donut because I was kind of hoping, kind of not, that like the issues I was having is because I can't taste lemon, And lemon is pretty heavy in all the things I've tried to use to emulate the Fruity Pebbles. I was hoping that because I can't taste the lemon, that's why I was getting such off notes from whatever I was making. And apparently it's not. Because I had my dad try it. 2 of the latest batches which were the best of what I've done so far. And number one, he didn't get anything remotely similar to what I was going for. And number two, he was getting an off note in both of them. The one, I think it's just the one particular flavor I was using. He said it tastes like soap, which obviously is not what I was going for. Thing with lemons and stuff like that, sometimes they can get a little bit soapy or like perfumey, kind of like Lysol cleanser types thing. So I'm guessing that's what he was getting from it. Hard to know. He's also, I guess, having some sinus issues, which doesn't help. But bottom line is he wasn't getting anything like a donut with Fruity Pebbles on it. And then the other one, it wasn't like offensive to him, but he wasn't getting the Fruity Pebbles either, or the donut. He said it just tasted vaguely sweet, and I forget what else he said, but it was a fail. But while I was down there, he had me look at the Call of Duty Warzone, which, if you're not familiar, Call of Duty is a game. It's a first-person shooter game. I have like the one where you buy it and you have all, you can do the campaigns, you can do whatever. The Warzone is like a free version that, from what I can tell, looks similar to like Fortnite, and that you're dropped into like this map and you have to loot everything, and every so often the zone that you're supposed to be in gets smaller, so it like draws people closer together, and like you basically just have to survive. So it's a bit different than what I'm used to, because when I play Call of Duty, it's just like the quick games. I forget exactly what they're called, but it's a lot more constrained. Like the area that you're in is a lot smaller, and it's quicker paced, and when you die you just respawn. With Warzone, not so much. You have to wait, and I was dying a lot. It's very different. It's interesting how the same game can be so different, just going in a different mode. But he basically wanted to see, number one, how to play it, because I guess he was struggling with it, and number two, like how everything was working as far as visuals and the game movement. Like he kind of wanted to test how his system was able to, play it. Like if it was going to have any issues playing it, because it is a pretty intense game as far as like on your system. You have to have decent specs to be able to play it. Anyway, we were playing that, which was interesting. So that was nice. I'm going to end up having to play Warzone a little bit more, because it is interesting. It's just I suck at it so far. But I also sucked at the other Call of Duty I was playing too at first, and then, I got better. Let's see. Have to look. Hopefully I can do it without having to open it. But I'll put it in chat. View profile. It's not letting me copy and paste it. I'm not sure if the second part is needed. And that's another weird thing. Like whenever I had to, whenever I have to add someone as a friend, because like there's so many options you choose for, and then like you have different names depending on what it is. Like there's an Activision one, and then there's a Battle Pass one or something. I don't know. It's weird. So I don't know which one this is, but I think it's the Blizzard one. But anyway, oops, did a little bit too much of that. Another thing I was possibly going to do, we'll see time-wise how we're doing and everything, is I have these Flavor Monks flavors, and I haven't messed with any of them yet. I don't think I've tried not a one of them. If I did, I don't remember. I've had them a couple months now. I was going to maybe mix up one or two of those, depending how much I ramble. I'm finding it really hard to concentrate today for some reason. Oh, we are going to be doing our bowling league again, so that's good. We weren't sure if we're going to be able to do it with everything that's been happening, and the fact that our last season was canceled. Literally mid-season, we had gotten 1 or 2 games in, like the second half of the season, or whatever you want to call the bowling thing. And then the Backstreet Boys came back. And everything was, which sucked. And I know I've said it before, but we were winning. We were guaranteed a spot at the championship. And then this happened. And I don't even know. And I want to ask, but I don't know if it's like rude to ask, but like, because like when you do like a bowling league, you put money in, not only just for your membership, but for, you know, your weekly, you know, bowling. And then on top of that, like they do raffles and stuff that are supposed to go into a pot. And then it's either it goes into like the party that you have at your last game, or it'll go partly to whoever wins. Like it depends on how you like work it out, but those are the things that it goes for. But since like obviously we didn't finish out the season because we were unable to, like where does all that money go? And I'm especially interested because we had potentially, you know, won some of that money because we were already going to be at the least second place. So I don't know. I haven't said anything mainly because with them having to shut down for like 2 or 3 months, I'm sure they might be hurting for money as far as just the lanes themselves. So I kind of feel bad because to me, like the money that I spent for, you know, raffling and all that is like whatever, like it's gone. But it's more of a curiosity thing. Like, what are they doing with that? Cool, yeah. I used to play with Lumi and Larry and Meter. And sometimes Meter's wife would play, but it seems like Lumi she doesn't want to play it. And if Larry's been playing it, it's been at times where I'm not playing it. So I've just been playing by myself. Because I still enjoy the game. Yes, I do get frustrated with it and annoyed when I take breaks from it, but I still do play it. Yeah, she plays those. She keeps like mentioning, you know, that I should play it or whatever. I'm sure half joking, half not, but those types of games just aren't interesting to me. I don't like them. I don't understand them. Like I get the concept of them, but I don't know. It doesn't interest me. Like maybe back when I was playing Final Fantasy more, because it's kind of similar to that from what I can tell. It has like that turn-based kind of system, and you have your potions and all this other BS. Which, mind you, I was never really all that great at Final Fantasy. The only reason I played it was for the story. But yeah, I don't have time for games like that anymore. I like games that I can pick up and put down whenever I want. If I have to dedicate like hours and hours, because, and I'm not saying that her game is like this, I'm just saying in general. Why I stopped playing Final Fantasy, for example, is I would get so far into the game and then I'd have to stop for whatever reason. And then when I went back in, I had no idea what I was doing, because there's not really a clear flow, or there's like the objective isn't even listed, or if it is, I have no idea how to get there. So it's just like, it's something that kind of requires a lot of time, and I just don't have that anymore. Back when I was doing those types of games, I think I was still like in the later parts of high school, I want to say. I'd play a lot of them like on summer vacation type thing. Now, I don't have time for that. And like I said, they just don't interest me. I watched her play it, and it's like, oh, you're kind of pretty, but about as far as that goes. Last one I played was, I think, 14, Final Fantasy 14. My favorite will always be 10, because it's the first one I ever played, and it was given to me by someone, I guess, special. But yeah, it was like my first one. It was the first type of game like that I had ever been exposed to. I loved the storyline. The graphics for the time were phenomenal. So that one will always hold a special place. I still have it, even though I can't even play it because I don't have a console that is capable of playing it. But it's just sentimental. I've thought about getting Final Fantasy. Like, I was looking for games the other day, but it's like, I don't want to invest so much time into it. I just don't want to do it. Like, if I'm gonna, the closest thing I have now that is similar is like Far Cry. I really like Far Cry, but at least with that, the storyline's a little bit more open, and it lists your clear objectives. It lists on the map where they are, so it's very easy to put it down and come back to it. It also has a good replaying quality to it, where some games you play once and it's like, that's it, I'll never play that again. Resident Evil and Far Cry, for me, I can replay them. Yes, I stopped playing Fallout as well. I don't remember if it's 4. I think it might be 4. And yeah, it was because I couldn't remember what I was supposed to be doing or how to do it. Like, it also lists your objectives, but sometimes it's not clear as to how to actually complete them. I also got sick of dying. For some reason, even on a pretty easy like level or difficulty or whatever, I was dying a lot. And I'm not the best video gamer by any means, but I'm not terrible. Like, I know I'm decent, but for whatever reason in that game, I just died so much. And like, I don't know if it's just my game or that's just the way the game is designed or whatever, but every time I die, it takes forever to load back up again. And I'm very impatient. So when I die, like, I want to come back relatively quickly, and I don't like loading screens. So that's another reason I stopped playing it. It was just aggravating too much. And when I play video games, the point of them for me is they're kind of relaxing to me. Like, I don't know, there's things that I like to do on my spare time. So like, if I'm annoyed half the time because of one thing or another, it's just like, okay, this isn't fulfilling the purpose of me playing it. I did enjoy it for a little bit, though. I think I enjoyed it enough to justify whatever I paid for it, which is kind of what I aim for at whatever I'm getting as far as a game. And that's why I find it hard to pay retail for a lot of games. A lot of times I'll wait until they're on sale or whatever. They've been out a while to pay less. The exception is Resident Evil and Far Cry, and then Dying Light if they ever come out with another one. I really enjoy that game as well. But for some of these games, like The Evil Within, it's a good game, but there are parts of that I also don't like. And for some reason, like, they take, I don't know, I don't want to get too far into it. I don't know if anyone cares. But basically, I didn't want to pay full price for it because I knew that I could potentially not like it, and it could potentially not have a high replay factor to it. Like, I want to be able to play a game more than once. Otherwise, I can't justify paying $60 for it. Right now, I'm playing Call of Duty, and I was playing Far Cry 5 again, but I just beat that again, so I'm not doing that anymore. Other than Call of Duty, I don't know what else I'd be playing. There's still a couple games I haven't even beaten yet, like Alien Isolation, which I'm kind of putting off playing because that is one that I bought on a whim because I'm not good at stealth. Like, when I play a game, I kind of just want to get in there, kill everything, and be done with it. I don't want to sneak around, and then, like, if I'm spotted, then I just die automatically. To me, that just annoys me. And that's kind of what Alien Isolation is, as far as I can tell. The only reason I got it is because I got it for, like, a really cheap price, and I figured I might get some enjoyment out of it. Because it is scary from what I can tell. It's kind of got like Dead Space vibes to it a little bit. Plus, I liked the Alien movies. Not all of them. A lot of them are very corny, if not all of them. But they do have some kind of enjoyment value to them. I think it's mostly nostalgia because it's, I don't know, something I watched a long time ago when I was very young. Like, I watched scary movies when I was really young, which is odd because I wasn't allowed to watch MTV, but I was allowed to watch horror movies, like any movie I wanted. All the Friday the 13th movies, the Hellraiser movies, which those are really gory, Stephen King movies, anything like that I could watch, Godzilla movies, which those aren't really gory. But if you're talking about someone that's like kindergarten or younger, probably not a good movie for a little kid to watch. I don't know. Especially when Godzilla was bad. Anyway. So I think enough people are here, and I don't want to like lose track again. So I want to talk about my Randonauting experience. I've mentioned this before, and it seemed like no one really knew what it was, which I didn't know what it was until I came across somebody on YouTube that had done it, and I immediately was interested. It's an app that you can get on your phone, and basically what it does is it randomly generates points on a map that you're supposed to go and like investigate or explore. There's different types of things you can choose from. So, like, the first part is like you're supposed to have an intention, like what you're intending or wanting to find. So some people, which I don't recommend it, they'll like think death or murder, like because they want to find like some kind of like, I don't know, they're seeking out stuff that you shouldn't be seeking out. So that's their intent. And then after that, you're supposed to put whether or not you want it to be a void, an attractor, or a anomaly. And depending on which you choose, it goes to different types of points. So the attractor is where the points are highly concentrated. I'm reading because I don't remember them offhand what the different types are. But I guess it's like points where the energy is the highest. The void is the opposite, where the quantum points are sparse. I'm guessing quantum points, they keep saying that, is where energy is clustered. That's what I'm guessing. So yeah, that's where the least amount of those points would be. Anomaly is neither a void or an attractor. So you pick one of those, and then it basically just sends you within your GPS to wherever. It's like a random coordinate. So I wanted to do this, number one, because I thought it was interesting. And again, it'd get me out of the house. And I wanted to do a couple tests because I watched quite a few YouTube people do this. A lot of them were younger, like in their 20s, maybe late teens. I don't really know. I didn't know who any of these people were, but they looked young. So they did a lot of the same things. And one thing I was wondering was, a lot of them, because they were recording it, obviously, because I was watching it, they would say their intention out loud. And I'm like, okay, well, if your phone is listening, because there's that theory that your phone's always listening even when it's not supposed to be, which I kind of think maybe it is. I don't know. My thing is like, okay, if this app is on or whatever, could it be listening to whatever your intent is and kind of directing you towards that? Now, obviously, that might not work for every intention, because like some people will have very obscure intentions, and there's not really a way for them to know where that would be. But if you're doing like something more general, like I want to see water, like it could obviously quite easily find water near you and direct you there. So I wanted to make sure, or try to debunk whether or not it's doing that. So what I did for our first one, and we did quite a few, I think 11 or 12, is it was me and my sister. I didn't want to go alone, just because there has been some like weird stuff going on with this app, and I wanted to make sure that I was being as safe as I could be. So I went during the day, and I went with my sister. So what I did is I had us both write down what our intention was. I think you can only do up to like 4 words. So the first one I did was white bird. So I figured, even though birds are pretty common where I live, white ones not as much. Like you might see a seagull or something like that, but that's pretty much it. So I figured, because it does like to send people to like more rural areas from what I had seen. So I figured, make it more difficult to be, accurate or whatever. And then she did, I think, something spooky, like scary, whatever. So, or no, what was my first one? What was that one? It's hard to remember because our first one was a bust. So I think her first one was something spooky. I don't know. Neither here nor there. The first one sent us towards the dock area for like shipping, receiving for some random company I never heard of. But we couldn't get to the coordinate because it was past a private property barrier. And I wasn't about to try to get, arrested or anything like that. Plus, it did look really creepy, and I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. So that was fail number 1. And I don't remember what my intention was for that. I honestly don't remember. I think we might have kept the same intentions from the first one to the second one because it failed. I think that's what happened. So it was something spooky and a white bird. So we did another coordinate, and it directed us towards this, it's like a little business cluster of like offices and stuff, and then overlooking kind of a valley. And then there was like this white silo where they keep salt, I think, for like the roads. At least that's what it looked like, which was creepy. And it was white, but it wasn't a bird. And I did not see any white birds or anything like it there. And then for the something spooky, I mean, it's kind of vague. To me, the silo was spooky. It looked really creepy and out of place and just weird, but they always kind of do to me. So I don't know if you really, really, really dig. Maybe that kind of is a hit, but to me, it was nothing monumental. So for the second time, I think we just did the same thing again, like writing both our intentions down, not telling each other. We didn't tell each other. The point of doing that was to not only rule out that the phone is listening or prove that the phone is listening, but it was also another thing that I noticed with these people doing the YouTube is that they're like really seeking out whatever they're looking for. So it's like, obviously you're more likely to see whatever it is your intention was if both of you are just really digging and looking around. And you know, what is that phrase? It's like, you'll find what you look for. No, that's not it. You know what I mean, though. That's not a saying at all. But anyway, so we did it a couple times, and one of mine was like a red pickup truck. It did put us in a residential area. So I guess if you were looking for a red pickup truck, it would be more than likely there, opposed to some of the other places they sent, which was more like parks and rural or whatever. So, I mean, if they were listening, I mean, it was more likely that we would come across a red pickup truck, but we didn't. There was nothing. The closest thing was a maroon SUV, like a Jeep Wrangler, no, not a Jeep Wrangler, Cherokee looking thing. And then for the same intent or the same thing, my sister said camera, which I don't know why she would say camera. It's kind of weird, but like I told her, maybe like the people that live there have security cameras. That could very much, I mean, and I'm sure somewhere in their house they had a camera. So not the best intention, just because it's hard to prove whether or not it's there, unless it's something obscure. Like if it had been like a billboard of a camera, that would be something more significant, but it was a bust. One of the intentions that I did out loud, I think it was paranormal. That was my intention. And my sister said, what did she say? Free food or something like, yeah, I think it was free food. And it put us in a old people home. I don't know, I don't remember the more PC term for that. I want to say it's not funeral home. What is that? You know what I mean? I mean, if you were to have paranormal activity, I would imagine a place like that would be pretty high, because people there are more likely to pass because of their age and everything, and especially at where we are right now with everything going on. And then the free food put us by a dumpster. So I told her technically it's true, because I'm sure there's food in there and it's free. Whether or not you want it or not is another thing, but that's what it did. Nursing home, I think, was what I was trying to think of. But yeah, one of those places, which was sad, to be honest. Like, it was so like empty. There was like two people outside sitting pretty far from each other with their masks on, and that was really it. Like, I'm pretty sure you still can't visit people there right now, and I just think about them and how sad it is, and it sucks, man. Because I mean, if you're in one of those places, it's already can be sad, and then when you can't even have visitors come. Anyway, so to me that was kind of a hit, because I mean it had the potential for both paranormal activity and the free food, aka dumpster. It kept putting us near dumpsters, which was weird. It was like the third time it had done that. Another time was my sister, her intention was water. My intention was a triangle. I feel like triangles aren't super popular or common when you're just out and about. And they're not really natural, because I don't know, things just don't grow that way typically. And it did direct us to another office building cluster. There was no water immediately where we were, but there was a little canal, river, creek type thing, like maybe 15 to 20 feet away. So depending on how hard you want to like dissect that, I guess it could be water. But I did see a triangle. It was like a right angle triangle, and it was like a part of their little like the name of their office, like that placard thing that goes on the building. It was on that. And it did look out of place, so I feel like that was kind of a hit. But overall, the thing is the good things about it were it got me out of the house, number one. Number two, it directed me to areas that were close by. None of them were extremely far, so I guess that would be positive too. It doesn't direct you crazy places out of the way. But it got me to places around me that I had never been to before, even though they're so close. So I got to see different areas, things I didn't even know were there, changes in like the way because like the funeral home's been there or funeral home, nursing home, whatever place you want to call it, has been there a while, but I'd never been back there when they had all the new buildings up. I had been back there when it was just like one building. So I got to see how that expanded and as changed or whatever. But as far as anything like spooky happening or even just remotely creepy happening, nothing happened. The most uncomfortable I ever was at the nursing home just because of the general atmosphere. And I mean, it was pretty creepy, and there was like this huge tower next to it for some reason. I don't know if there's like a radio station there or something, but it looked creepy. It looked out of place, and just the whole feeling was weird. But I don't know if I would attribute that to anything in particular. But overall, it was fun. But I kind of was hoping for a little something weird because like some of these people, the YouTube people, they found some creepy stuff. And yes, I do think most of it, if not all of it, was probably staged because some of the stuff just seemed just too much. Like this one lady went to, I forgot what her intention was, but one, she was by herself, which I don't really recommend. But she was by herself, and it directed her to a creek. And when she got there, she saw a bunch of like drawings made by what looked like to be like a young child, just strewn about everywhere, just like random things that a child would have there. And as she investigated more, she started hearing like a child's voice, saying something about wanting to play with her or something like that. Kind of like the stereotypical scary movie, like come play with me kind of thing. But yeah, just I mean, what's really the chance of finding like all these little pictures in the middle of nowhere? It was like in the nature park somewhere of like a kid's drawing, and then you hear that. And then she went back because I forget if it was like a comment on her video or if it was a live stream comment, but they wanted her to go back. And so she did. And then she heard the voice again and she saw more stuff. And when they played the video back, they did find like an outline of a little child, like a little girl. So I don't know. It just seems too convenient to me. But yeah. I didn't do an intention like that interdimensional thin spot. And that's another thing too about this Randonautica. That's more of like the urban legend side of it. Is it's supposed to direct you to, or I don't know if it directs you to, but it's basically supposed to, I'm trying to think of a way to word it. Like part of it is saying that you can manifest your intention. Like it brings you to areas where your intention will be manifested. That's like one thing. And then the other one is like interdimensional things. I don't know. It's really weird. But as far as a website says and like actual facts, it's really just pointing you to different points on a GPS. That's really all it is. Kind of like if you throw a dart at a map, Like people would do that all the time. Kind of like that, more high tech. If it's actually putting you at places where energy is most concentrated or not concentrated, I don't know. That's one thing I was talking to my dad about. Is like this place that all the information comes from is someplace in Australia, and that's where all the things are supposed to be generated, where it's like looking at energy. It's like, is it really doing that, or is it just giving you just random GPS coordinates? Like, I don't know. Um, oh, and that's the other thing too, is like it's supposed to deal with something with consciousness, and I don't know. My brain can't function really well right now to be able to explain it in a way that would be understood. Or properly, for that matter. Plus, like I said, I don't know if I buy any of it. Like, I'm still open-minded, don't get me wrong, but I'm not as enamored with certain things as far as paranormal is. Um, like when I was growing up, for example, I was always under the impression that ghosts were just dead people. That's what they were. As I gotten older and just recounting the times that I've seen them, it almost seemed more of a time thing. Like either I was looking into a certain point in the past or the future, or maybe even a different dimension, just because the entities that I seen, or the images that I seen, because I can't even say that they're an entity, they were not interactive at all. They didn't seem to know I was there. They were just doing whatever. Or that another explanation is certain materials in the planet, crystal or quartz, for example, have like just natural recording properties. So if you live on top of like a highly concentrated area of quartz, um, it can lead to more like residual type hauntings where you're just seeing a moment in time replaying. It's more of like a natural thing than like a supernatural or paranormal thing. Um, that's kind of where my mind goes, just because I have not had any, or not a lot of. I've had some interactions with something that seemed to be intelligent and seeing me, but most of them was just like observational. They didn't know I was there. It was just like they were there. So that's like just an example of kind of like how my brain's changed or my thinking has changed from just thinking everything is, ghosts and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's impossible for a spirit to be trapped or remain here, or part of them remains here for whatever reason. I just haven't experienced it, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of compelling things along those lines. And sadly enough, I don't know if I believe in an afterlife. Kind of like my views at this point are more of a universal consciousness type thing, not so much like a heaven, a hell, that kind of thing. So, sadly enough, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into that because I know people have their beliefs and that's fine. And I don't want to get into it because I grew up a Christian for well, I don't know if I could say most of my life. I'm approaching the part where I can't say most of my life anymore because there was definitely a turning point where things changed in that regard. But yeah, for a long time, I had different beliefs. We'll put it that way. But again, I'm open-minded. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm just saying that I think this way now. And as far as ghosts, And it just kind of sucked because I used to watch like these ghost shows, and they used to be a little bit more entertaining. Now I watch them and I'm trying to figure out like what it really is. Because some of these like ghosts caught on film bullshit, it's just so bad. It's like, dude, really? Like, oh, did you hear that? No, I didn't. And if I did, it was probably nothing. Like, it'll be like, oh. I'm like, oh, did you hear it said Brian, come home? It's like, no, I absolutely did not hear that. They're just like looking for things. And that's kind of like getting back into like the intention thing. Like if you're intentionally seeking something out, you're more than likely to find it. I think that was the phrase I was looking for before, maybe worded a bit better. But anyway, I don't know. I still watch them, don't get me wrong, and I still find some that if they're not tampered with, and that's another thing, is our technology has improved so much over the years that a lot of things can be manipulated. It's hard to know what's real or not. And I don't know. I definitely look at them in a different way than I used to, which kind of sucks. It's kind of like being told that, you know, Santa Claus isn't real. Which, mind you, I just found out over time that Santa Claus wasn't real because I kept finding my Christmas presents random places. I'm like, okay. Okay, Santa. You put my Christmas presents in my mom's crocheting basket months ahead of time. Cool. And I don't even remember if I ever believed the Tooth Fairy was real. I don't know that I did. Easter Bunny, I did. I think the Easter maybe it was the Easter Bunny I found the stuff for because I have a very distinct memory of finding something I wasn't supposed to find, like a present early. In my mom's, she had like this weird stand-up wooden, I don't know what you'd even call it. It was a container of some sort. And she had put all her like yarn and stuff in there because she crochets. And I don't remember why it was in there, but I went in there and I found presents that I shouldn't have found. I think that was the Easter Bunny though, because we used to get like little gifts for Easter in our Easter baskets. I think it was a Barbie or something. And then lo and behold, like a month or two later, Easter Bunny gave me a Barbie. Okay. I don't know. I think reality is not as black and white as some people think. And I also don't think it's as bound in like these rules that people think either. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but it's just interesting, you know, as time goes on, like science changes. And I get it, like you're not going to know something exists until you discover it, or you know, things change depending on what you find and what you experiment with, but I don't know. The only time I get irritated with people is if they're just trying to like shit on people's experiences. Like if I were to tell, you know, my story about whatever, and they're like, oh, that didn't happen, or that's bullshit, or this or that. It's like, okay, that's your opinion, but like, why do you have to just be a Debbie Downer about it? Like, if you don't believe it, it's fine. Like, do you think I honestly type in comments when I watch these bullshit, like, ghost videos caught on film that aren't anything in particular? No, I just keep moving on to the next one. Like, it's that part irritates me when someone just has to go out of their way to make a comment about something, even if it's religion. Like, for whatever reason, a lot of times you'll find like religious people all over like paranormal videos and stuff, like in the comments. And they'll just like go on the spew and tirade about whatever. And it's like, oh my God, Like, why? Why do you have to do that? Like, you took so much time misspelling all those words and all those grammatical issues or errors for what? Like, do you think that person believes in God now? Probably not. If anything, it probably makes them have more of an aversion to whatever religion you're in because you acted that way. Like, those are the type of things that irritate me. It's like, have your beliefs, have your comments, but just keep them to yourself. There's no reason that everyone on the planet needs to know what you're thinking at every freaking moment of your life. Like, it's just not necessary. But I also come from an interesting perspective of where a lot of people haven't seen paranormal anything. So, if you believe what you see or experience, they're not going to believe it because they've never seen it for themselves. I've seen a lot of crap. What it is, I don't know. I can't tell you for 100% certainty it's this or that, but I did experience weird shit, and I've had other people numerous times, different people experience the same thing with me. So I know I'm not completely crazy, because I don't believe in shared delusions. I just don't believe in that. I believe to a degree it's possible, like if you're collaborating your stories to match, but truly experiencing the same thing at the same time and it not being real, I just don't believe that. To me, that's weirder than whatever you're experiencing. That don't make sense to me. So I know I'm not completely nuts. I've had several accounts where there's someone with me and they saw the exact same thing. So, yeah. But anyway, so the Randonauting experience, it was interesting. I still recommend probably doing it. I would just recommend not doing it alone, not doing it at night or when it's dark. And if it directs you to a place that's private property, don't go. Which is unfortunate because I feel like if we would have went in that area that was blocked off, we probably would have seen at least something, not like necessarily paranormal, but it would have been creepy. Like, it would have been interesting. It would have been something because I didn't even know that little area existed. So it definitely was interesting looking. It's like it takes you, it's like the main road's here, and it directed us to go on this little gravel road this way. And it directs you. There's like a bridge on here, and then an underpass. Some trucks and stuff parked over there, probably. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what they're doing. And then like the building that I'm guessing is like the shipping, receiving, whatever is here. But then if you go straight ahead on this gravel road thing, and it was like literally just loose rocks. It was really crickety, and you saw the fence said, no trespassing, private property, whatever. And then like just like woods, like just random woods, like in the middle of nowhere. And the little gravel road continued. Definitely creepy. So I really want to go back there, but I'm a pussy. I can't. I'm afraid of getting caught. I have not tried geocaching. I saw it briefly mentioned as I was doing my little, because I get into these YouTube, holes, and they'll start like completely random. Like, I have no idea how I got on this Randonauting. Actually, I think it was because I watched this one guy. He's a tarot reader, and I don't know if he's legit or not. I don't know. I just find it entertaining. There's some things I don't really believe necessarily, but I find them entertaining nonetheless, and he's one of them. So I was watching him because there was this case, getting back to how it can be dangerous. There was this case in Seattle that happened. I don't remember when it happened. I think it was somewhat recently because I think this app has only been out for a limited amount of time. But they ended up finding I don't want to get cut. They found someone that was no longer I'm trying to think. It's so bad. People are getting like flagged and stuff for like random stuff. So I'm just trying to not have like anyone or anything triggered. They found a person that wasn't breathing anymore, put it that way. And it ended up being a problem. Like an investigation had to be had, and apparently there was some kind of breakfast cereal person, we'll put it that way, in the area. But yeah, and if I remember correctly, their intention was not good, like the intention they had set. Mind you, does that matter? I don't know. It's just ironic. But they ended up finding, something they didn't want to find. So, yeah. And then, like, other people that I had watched, it would direct them to just weird random places, and they'd come across, like, weird people. Like, this one couple was driving around, and like I said, I don't know if this is real or not, or staged or whatever, because they did seem a little extra. Like, everything meant everything. It's like, no. Like, if you see this, like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't know. I guess some people are just easily amused. I don't know. But anyway, it directed, I forget what their intention was. I think it was something very random, and they came across like this other couple standing in the middle of the road. It was like a dead end road or something, and supposedly, because like they had one of those backup cameras behind their car, even though they could see the person in the rearview mirror, they couldn't see the people or the couple in their car video system, whatever. So it's like, I don't know. This is the stuff that I don't necessarily believe, is when people just jump to these random conclusions like, oh, I can't see like this person behind me in my little backup camera for my car, but I can see them in the rearview mirror. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's the angle, maybe distance wise it's not exactly as, I don't know, maybe it is something, who knows, but it's weird. But anyway, yeah, I have never tried geocaching. Yeah, exactly. Well, where I live, I'd have to drive quite a ways to get anywhere like that. And it only directed me, I think the most we went was maybe a mile. It wasn't anything significant. The one thing that was annoying is we both set our intention for a cute boy. And ironically, out of all the places it sent us to, that's where it sent us the furthest. It took a look at our location and was like, okay, yeah, if you need that, we're going to have to send you a ways. So it sent us on this really roundabout way to get to this one point. Like it made us get on the freeway and then get off the freeway and go back around and come back off, because the point was on the other side of the road. So it couldn't just say like, oh, your destination is here, just look to your left. No, it made us go all the way on the freeway, get off of the first exit, go back around, come back off the exit that we went back on, so we could be on the right side of the road to see this cute boy, which there was no one there. It was literally on the side of the road right off the freeway ramp. But I thought it was funny nonetheless. However, I will say we were planning on eating somewhere after this last, the cute boy trip. And we were already planning on going to the Winking Lizard. If you don't know what that is, it's like a bar kind of place, like BW3s or something, kind of similar, I guess. I don't know. I've only been there twice. But anyway, we were already planning on going there, and it put us, where we needed to go there. And at that place, we had a cute boy, or it was a man, cute guy. He was the one that delivered our food. So depending on how accurate you want it to put it, it did direct us to a cute guy. It just wasn't right at the spot that it pinpointed. But it was funny. But yeah, one thing I was surprised about, or another thing I was surprised about, is that I live in an area where there's a lot of nature parks, and it seemed that the people I watched on YouTube anyway, it sent them to the parks a lot, like very rural places, a lot of trees, just kind of in the middle of nowhere. Not like cornfield necessarily status, but definitely like more nature park status. And even though we're surrounded by parks, it only kind of directed us to one once. And that was surprising to me, because if you were to think of points, like, because we did voids, we did a bunch of, like, did a couple of tractors, a couple of voids, a couple of anomalies to keep them, varied. And the voids are points that, are, they have the least amount of energy or whatever, which you would think would be kind of in a park, maybe. Either way, you would think one of those types of points would lead you to a park at least a couple of times, considering how many are around me. But it didn't. It directed us to a residential area, I think 3 times. A lot of office spaces, which were odd, like empty, because I mean, with the Backstreet Boys, a lot of people were working from home. Plus, it was a Saturday, so a lot of businesses like that, like offices, aren't necessarily going to be open on the weekend anyway. So like a lot of empty, just completely desolate office, little industrial parkway type things. It would send us there a lot, so that was kind of weird. I don't know. Um, it was still interesting. Like I said, I got out of the house. I had to spend time with my sister. Um, got to see places around me that I didn't even know existed. It was fun. It was kind of disappointing, the results that we got. I thought I would come across something more interesting. I didn't. It was a lot of directing us to random places or places we couldn't get to, which was kind of annoying. It was a lot more downtime than what people on YouTube would have you believe. Like, which again, not out of the ordinary for YouTube to be a little bit more dramatized or cut to pinpoint, the most excitement in the video. Because obviously, most people aren't going to want to watch people just chilling in their car trying to get a signal for the app, I don't know. I'd still recommend it. And the geocaching, I don't remember exactly what that was, but I know I did. There was one thing, and I don't know if it's the same thing, but there's like certain points that have like, yeah, okay, so it is what I was thinking of. So you're supposed to go to like a specific point and you're supposed to find something there. Like somebody intentionally stashes something there, like little clues and stuff. That seemed really interesting to me. But from what I've read further down of like people actually going, a lot of those places aren't kept up, so they're not finding anything, or they're finding empty containers. But something like that is super interesting and cool to me. It's kind of like a time capsule-ish thing, or like a pirate ship map, like where the X is like the treasure. I mean, that's pretty sweet. What I did think of doing is maybe going there intentionally to plant something there, like if there isn't something there. So that might be something I do soon. If I do, I'll let you guys know. Because whether I find something there or not, I can plant something there. Hopefully that's allowed. I don't know if there's rules against that. That's considered littering. I don't know. I think that would be cool, because I mean, you figure people are bored. All this like unrest with people, and mind you, people are always kind of annoying in that way, where they'll get offended or whatever about stupid crap that really doesn't matter. And that's not everything. Some things do matter, don't get me wrong. But it just seems like, especially lately, society is just like nitpicking every little thing. Like the stupidest thing they're like freaking out about. It's like, calm down. I know you're bored inside your house, like a little animal that's like been caged in all day and you just want to go and run around. You have to find some kind of outlet that's healthy, that is productive, that is contributing positively, not just sitting on the computer all day bitching about something. Like I've seen a lot of people on Facebook complain about that. Like all they're seeing on their feed is just negativity. So for the last couple months, I've tried just posting positive things, like things that are funny. Like I like to post like the animal rescue things. I find really nice to see like people doing positive things. Like not every single person out there is horrible. That would be terrible. There are good people in the world, and sometimes you have to focus on that, because everything else, like if you focus on everything that's negative, that's just bleak and it's pointless and it's just depressing. And I personally don't need any more excuse to be depressed. I have my own issues. So, yeah. So like I could do this little geocache thing and like plant little something. I don't know what I'd plant there, but I mean, if somebody comes across it, it might be something for them to do. And I don't know. I might do that. I'll have to look into like what you actually put there. I'm not entirely sure what you put there. But it seems like a lot of these caches, because it might have been like a trend back, years ago that, people had picked over, and now all those little locations are empty. Maybe you could like replenish them and that could be a thing. I don't know. And again, it would get me out of the house. Because I don't really go anywhere anymore. Like I was never an outgoing person by any means, and I definitely didn't go out all that often anyway. But with everything happening since March, I've gone out even less. And as introverted as I am, I do need to go out sometimes, because I work from home. So like even before all this, I was working from home. So that was like the main point where I interacted with people. That was like the most I interacted with people was at work. So it was something I was forced to go to Monday through Friday, or at least a couple days out of the week. Now, I have my groceries delivered to me. Sometimes I'll go to the store, but a lot of times I'll just have them delivered to me. If I want to eat out, again, I just have it delivered to me. I don't go and pick up food. The first time I've been in a restaurant since everything was the day we went randonauting. Like it was either a week or 2 ago. I can't remember which. I think it was 2 weeks ago. That was the first time I've been in a restaurant since like February. So that was interesting. It was weird. It's weird, at least to me, how certain things that used to be normal are not normal anymore to me. Like the first couple times I went bowling, it was odd to me, like just being around people again. It was really weird. And I think it's just my personality. I'm a very routine person. I like routine and structure, and anyway, I get used to things and used to things being a certain way. I adapt to whatever is the norm. So since I hadn't been in like any kind of building around people, like bowling to me was really odd. Even grocery shopping, first few times, and even I think still now, it's still odd to me. I think mainly because you have to wear the mask. It's weird. Like things that were so normal at one point now are just so foreign, and it's like I wonder when those things will ever be normal again, if they ever will be normal again. Like just something as simple as going to CVS. Like I haven't been in a CVS or like a Walgreens or anything like that. I think I've been once since February, and that was only because I wasn't feeling well and I wanted to pick up some medicine and some like Canada Dry. So I swear Canada Dry just cures everything. Whether you're hungover, you got the flu, whatever you got. For me, Canada Dry is what makes me feel better. I don't know what it is, and no other soda does it. So I know it's not just carbonation, because I've tried Sprite. Like, you know, I don't have Canada Dry or access to it. I'll get like a Sprite or whatever. It's just not the same. There's something about that Canada Dry that just, and it could be the ginger, I don't know. But even other ginger ales don't do it. Like Vernors, I can't stand Vernors, but I don't know. It's just weird. Hello, Shane. I'm just rambling on about nothing. What's new? Nothing. Yeah. So I got like really distracted. Has anyone found any real flavors recently? Because there are a couple of flavors. I'm not a big real flavors fan, but there are certain flavors from them that I really like that I can't find anything else that even comes close. One of those flavors is their sugar cookie. I love Real Flavors sugar cookie. It is so bomb, and I only found out about it like right before or like right during when they kind of disbanded. And I think it was just on a whim I got it. And I absolutely love the flavor. And there's nothing else that I've tried that tastes like that. Like Capella sugar cookie is good, don't get me wrong. And there's like one other sugar cookie I liked. But they're not the Real Flavors. Real Flavors just very unique. And I've looked myself and I can't find it anywhere. And I know at one point there was talk of them selling or like rebranding or some crap so that some of their flavors would remain available, but like I haven't seen anything definitive or anything, and it's been in the talks for like a year, I want to say. That and their baked bread is also good, but I don't know if they'll keep that around just because it's such a weird flavor. But that's another one that I haven't found anything that tastes like it. It's very unique. And there was like one other flavor that I really liked from them. Oh, the Oreo, the cookies and cream is also really good. Delosi sugar cookie. I think I have that. I don't remember if I've tried it yet. I'll have to do that. I can tell you the Delosi Fruity Pebbles is trash. I got really excited because I was working on that stupid donut. And apparently I had a straight up Fruity Pebbles flavor. And it's from Delosi. I'm like, oh. I didn't have super high hopes just because, you know, it just couldn't be that easy, right? A lot of these cereal things kind of are trash, like the TFA fruit circles. It's workable, but you have to like really manipulate it to get it to work. And there's off notes. And, I don't know. It's very touchy stuff. So when I discovered I had straight up a Fruity Pebbles flavor, I'm like, that would be awesome if it worked. I was really hoping it would work, but I was realistic. I'm like, it probably won't. And it doesn't. It's the, I'm guessing the flavor that my dad said tasted like soap. It's possible it's like a percentage thing, but even just smelling it, like Jen, do you smell off notes? Because I swear I'm starting to be able to smell off notes. And I don't know if me smelling it is like putting it in my mind that it's going to have an off note and that I'm experiencing that, or if I'm just legitimately smelling it, but it smells off notey. Okay, so I know I'm not completely nuts because I swear I'm starting to smell off notes now, which sucks. I mean, it kind of is good. It kind of gives you a warning, but it's like I just wish I'd rather not taste or smell them. Because that's what happened to me with Sunset. I used to love Pure Lum's Sunset. It's like a tropical smoothie flavor. It's got a bunch of fruits in it. It's just very nice and bright and just delicious. At least it used to be. Repurchased it because Emily reminded me how great that flavor was because we were talking about it. I was like, oh, I love that flavor. I should get another bottle of it. All I taste is crayons. Like I smell it. It smells like I remember it tasting, but I vape it and I get crayons. I'm like, what happened? And I'm steadily doing this thing where I've talked about it before, but before what I would do is I would have a flavor because I'm an all day vapor. Like I find one flavor I like and that's what I vape. I don't switch up throughout the day and have like different mods going. Maybe I should try that too. I haven't tried that yet. But I would vape one flavor basically until I either was sick of it or I couldn't taste it anymore since I've had these, tasting issues. Now what I'm doing is I'm alternating every 30 mil. So regardless if I still want to keep vaping it or if I can still taste it or not, I'm switching it regardless. And I have like them, already mixed up because that's one thing that helps is just having them already mixed up so I can just go straight to it instead of having to actually mix it and then whatever. So I've been doing that. I don't know if it's helping or not, but I'm just trying to do everything I can to get my taste buds back to the way they were. I don't know if it's possible though. I don't know if I just completely screwed them up. But supposedly your taste buds die. I forget how often, but it's fairly often. So I feel like if my taste buds were the issue, that should have been resolved a long time ago. So I don't know what it is. I don't remember if there's one Jungle Flavors cookie I don't like because they have a cookie and they have a biscuit, and one of them I hate, and I don't remember which one it is. I did not like the Mullenberry Butter My Biscuit. I was really excited about it, did not like it. I do like their soft baked cookie. I do like that one, but it's not a replacement for the Real Flavors because I tried using that in a mix I had used, with the other thing, and it didn't work. At least not for that particular one. But I will try the Delosi, and then I might just have to try both. I guess I'll just go with the GF cookie or the JF cookie because I'm thinking it might be the biscuit I hated because people were saying it's similar to Inawera biscuit and you can kind of interchange them. And I want to say I tried that and it was awful. So I might just try the cookie. I don't know. We'll see. Huh. Yeah, I didn't like the Butter My Biscuit. I'm trying to remember why. I think it was too grainy. The thing with me is I don't like a lot of grain in my cookies, which I know like real cookies have that going on. I just don't like to vape it. So like Flavor Art cookie, I can't stand it. It's too textured. I kind of like the softer cookies. Like even in real life, I prefer soft cookies. I don't like hard ones. So I think that might be part of the reason why I don't like those types of things. But I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't like the Butter My Biscuit is it just had too much, might be too much AP because I'm not a big fan of acetylpyrazine, which is another reason I don't think, or another reason why I think I don't like Flavor Art cookie. I don't know if that came out coherently at all. Sometimes things in my head get kind of mixed up. I don't think I'm dyslexic necessarily, but it's like almost like I think dyslexically. I don't know. It also could be just the fact that my sleeping has just been really screwed up. But I don't know. I feel like at this point my body should be used to it because I don't ever really get good sleep. I have better sleep than other days, but it's never good. It could be trimethylpyrazine, because I know I hate trimethylpyrazine. It's one of the additives that Mollenberry had me try way a long time ago. It's like a nutty, it's supposed to be like a dry, nutty kind of flavor, minus the corn chip that you get from the acetylpyrazine, but somewhat similar. And what I got from it was just a very dry, it's really hard to describe. It's similar to like in a 555 tobacco. Like there's a note in there that I hate, and I don't know what it is, but I don't think I've ever tried a 555 blend that I've liked. But whatever that is, it had like a similar note to it. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, a dry. I didn't really get cocoa from it at all. I was hoping to, because that would have been nice, but all I got was just this dry, gross note. Not very descriptive, but it just wasn't pleasant for me. It was very strong. I tried diluting it quite a bit, and it didn't help. But yeah, that's how it's described. Is it's supposed to be like a cocoa nutty thing, but I personally didn't get any of that from it. Debating if I want to do this Flavor Monks thing, just because my water is cold. The one I do my steeping shaky thing with. I might just flavor test on the back of my hand. I know I was opposed to this way back in the day, but either my tongue's dead enough that it can just work now, or I found out that you just really need the tiniest amount and it works. I'm not as opposed to it as I used to be. Plus, you just kind of have to find out what works, and right now, regular single flavor testing isn't working all that great for me. This Flavor Monks cream smells kind of scary. Doesn't taste as scary as it smells. It smells like sour cream, which, mind you, I love sour cream, but I don't want to vape it. I'm getting off notes in both, but I can't tell if that's the PG, because I do taste PG. I'm a weirdo. So it could just be that. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks, is like once you're able to single out something, sometimes it can just like haunt you. Like you'll find it in everything. Like with Emily, and there was like one flavor that someone said that there was a coconut note in it, and she had never noticed it before. But once somebody pointed it out, now she can taste it, because it's like, oh, I know it's there, so now I taste it. Kind of like when you have like a kid and you try to blend like a healthy food into their stuff, and as long as they don't know that it's there, it's fine. But once they find out that it's there, all of a sudden it's gross. It's terrible, man. Similar to panic attacks too, because like before I ever had panic attacks, I never knew what they were. But it's like once you have it, it's just kind of always there. It sucks. I got a bunch of candles. I got a it's called Sensational. That's the name of the brand, and the flavor, or the scent, is tobacco and vanilla. And I got it on a whim because I wanted to get a new purse, and I always like to do the free shipping if I can. So I had to have a certain amount of, things. So Marshalls, if you didn't know, or TJ Maxx or any of those types of stores, Typically they're good for getting candles because they sell the huge candles. Like, this thing is massive. I think I've showed you guys before. They sell them pretty cheap. Like, the one I got is $13, and it's a 26-ounce candle. It's massive, and it was only $13. But yeah, I got it on a whim because my grandpa used to smoke pipe tobacco, and even though I don't like the way that cigarettes, smell, I don't like that, but I like the way cigars or pipe tobacco smells. I think it has a pleasant aroma. It's just like a sweet, ashy, smoky flavor or scent. So I figured I would grab it, hoping it would be kind of among those lines, and it is. It just smells like just this slightly smoky, sweet vanilla scent. It's really pleasant. Unfortunately, it was like sold out by the time I went back, so I had to buy it from another place. Apparently they're like affiliated, like sister companies. I've never heard of them. They're called Sierra, but I found that candle there, so like I didn't want to have what happened to me before happen again with a Bath and Body Works candle that was discontinued, and that used to be my absolutely favorite candle scent ever. It was like a cherry chestnut flavor or scent. Why do I keep saying flavor? Scent. And they discontinued it, and I've never been able to find it, and it's been like 5-6 years, so I don't think it's going to happen. But it was the best smelling candle I've ever smelled. I still have like a little tiny bit of it because I don't want to like burn it and then it just be gone forever. So now it's like it's just like a museum of smell. But anyway, so I went through this company to get 2 backups to that candle because I want to have at least a couple more goes at it, but it's a really nice scent. And then I also got a sand and fog candle, and it's a white cotton scent. I went that way because I figured it was a more safe, because to me, like, whenever you get like a cotton scent, it's just generally like kind of like a laundry, like a fresh laundry kind of scent. Because all this is online, I can't smell them through the screen, so I got that. It's pretty good. It's not as good as like the tobacco and vanilla one, but it's nice. It's a nice, just fresh scent. So I don't even know if you could see in the camera here. Everything's backwards. So yeah, you can kind of see it there. Like, all of that shelf is just candles because I bought other scents as well. But they packaged them so, like, that box right there is what they came in. It was only like a third of the way full with the candles and then all that bubble wrap, but there was nothing to keep that space filled. So what happens is, because even though it's marked fragile, the post office don't give a shit. They throw them. I mean, the box was in horrible condition. Like, you can kind of see it there, like how flimsy it is. It broke on the sides because it was so weak. It just, like, when you pick up a box and you could just feel it has like no structural integrity. That's what it was. It was like a floppy, almost bag-like structure because it had been jostled around so much. But yeah, they didn't like fill in that empty space. So all those little glass, or not even little, they're huge, glass containers are just like clanking around. And unfortunately, one of the big ones, one of them broke. They're just like completely smashed. So I reached out to them. I don't know if I'll ever get a response, but we'll see. But it irritates me when people don't package things properly. It's like, do you not understand just like the general idea of packing something? Like, you want it to be secure, and one way to make it secure is to make sure as much empty space is filled so that when things are jostled around, there's not all this space for them to be bouncing off each other. It's just so annoying. Like, this huge box, this thing is massive for 7 candles. Like, you don't need this like mover. This is like a moving box. Like, you don't need that for the candles. Like, it irritates me. Like, when I bought from Bath and Body Works, and I know that they're not the same because Sierra and TJ Maxx and all them, they're like a discount whatever store. So maybe they just don't have like the proper stuff to do it right. But if you buy from Bath and Body Works, their stuff is packaged secure. It comes in like these little cardboard things. Like, I don't know. They're secure. They know what they're doing. And I've, knock on wood, never had any of their candles break on me. But hello, Adam. I'm about to leave in 8 minutes because I've been talking entirely too long about nothing. But yeah, I got the teak wood is the one that broke, and unfortunately it's the one I like, or one of the ones I like. It's not one of the ones that are kind of, because there's a couple that are just meh. I like more, well, I won't say more. I like a variety of masculine type scents, more like the teak wood kind of smells like woodsy, like a woodsy, like Old Spice kind of scent. Like it's fresh smelling, but it's got like that woodsiness to it. So it's pretty masculine, but I like that a little bit sometimes. And then I also like just like the very natural smelling things, like I like pine. Pine smells really good. Sandalwood, those types of scents. I don't like the super sweet stuff, like the cinnamon bun type stuff, because it's too much. It gets old really quick. I like the light, kind of like similar to my vape. I like stuff that's, tolerable for a long period of time. So the teak wood was nice, but that's the one that broke. There's something called Midnight. That one I'm not sure about. It smells a little, not terrible, just not great. I got a white pumpkin cinnamon scent. I'm not big on the cinnamon spice, but I figured if the cinnamon was prominent, or not cinnamon spice, pumpkin spice. I'm not big on that scent or flavor, but I figured if the cinnamon was prominent enough, it would be fine, because I do love the smell of cinnamon. And thankfully it is. It's pretty strong, at least just smelling it. I haven't lit any of them yet. But I got 2 of the tobacco and vanilla. And then what else did I get? There was like one other one. I can't remember. But I'm good on candles, I guess, is basically the theme of that. Yeah, I don't mind if they're a little sweet, like the tobacco and vanilla is a little sweet, but it's not like overpowering, like cloyingly sweet. It's just like a light, more natural kind of sweetness. The same as with the chestnut cherry blend or whatever from Bath and Body Works that was discontinued. It was a little sweet, but it wasn't like crazy. Like I've had other ones where you just like light it for like 10 minutes and then it's like, okay, I'm over it. I don't want to smell it anymore. On top of the fact that some of them smell so good that just makes you hungry all the time. And I don't need that either. So if I'm going to smell, a candle, I'd prefer it to be more natural smelling, not like a food or whatever. Just like, the pine, like pine is one of my favorite ones. I just love the way that pine smells. Lilacs, I also absolutely love. Vanilla. One of my other favorite scents of all time is the lavender vanilla by Bath and Body Works. It smells so freaking good. But yeah. Actually, the teak wood does kind of smell like he does, or at least when I met him. It was like a fresh, masculine smell, like I don't know how to describe it. Like a clean, nice, but masculine smell. The only thing I'm kind of worried about with that one, which it doesn't really matter so much because that's the one that broke anyway. And if I do, because like I have a plan if they don't respond, because I send them a little, comment or whatever, is once I'm done with one of the other candles that are the same size, I'm going to try to just kind of scoop out whatever residual, because there always typically is some level of wax remaining after you burn through the wick of a candle. Scoop that out as much as I can and just put, because I mean the inner part of the wax is intact. It's just the whole glass surrounding it is just completely fucked. So it'll need something to sit in. So I'll just transplant that into, you know, something else. Ideally, I just want my money back because it's their fault they didn't package it right. But if they don't respond or whatever, or if it's a hassle, like if they want me to send it back, I'm not going to bother. I can't be bothered. Because at least right now I have a candle. What happens if I send it back and then they never refund me, or it takes forever? Like, it's like $13, which is enough to be, you know, a little irritated about. But like, I still do have the product. It's just fucked up. Yes, Twilight Woods I did like back in the day. I don't like the ocean ones. That's one I don't really care for. There's some kind of note in like the ocean scents or whatever I don't like. But I like, you know, fresh smelling scents. Like I said, the pine, wood spice, sandalwood. Cedar is also another good one. But I don't like them to be too pungent. Like Clinique Happy, it's like a perfume. I think it's too much. It's too strong. It's too punchy. I hate it. I absolutely hate that scent. It's so disgusting. But yeah, like there are a couple apple ones that are nice. But generally I like cinnamon, lilacs, lavender, vanilla, pine, that kind of shit. And I've tried actually making the cherry chestnut candle into a vape. I haven't been able to. There are certain blends of candle that I feel like would translate well into a vape. I've actually done it before, somewhat successfully, but some aren't. Like there was one that I tried to make wood spice work with, and wood spice is cool, but is she different? Like you have to like that incense kind of flavor. I somewhat enjoyed it. It wouldn't be like an all-day vape for me, but I could see a lot of people hating it just because it's so weird and like incensey. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go. I've been on here for quite a while, almost 2 hours, I think, like an hour 45 if I had to guess. Yeah, pretty much almost that. Mix and Vixens is on tonight. We are going to be going over whatever recipes we've redone, if we've redone them, or redid them, whatever. I don't know if the other girls, I know Emily was definitely going to be trying to redo one of hers. Lumi was going to do her donut at one point. I don't know if she managed to do it. Then Jen Winstead, I don't know what's going on with hers. But, you know, we're going to go over that and then whatever else. Then next week is the quote-unquote judging, or what was formerly known as judging episode, where our recipes are reviewed or critiqued or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully we're going to be having a special guest next week, which will be very flustering for me. So if I'm very quiet or red or whatever, you don't need to comment about it next week. I'd appreciate it. That would be great. But yeah, check us out there. And that's about it. Bye.